3.5 years ago, Josh McDaniels was slated to become the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. It did not happen. Frank Reich, who wasn't even seriously considered by the Colts before the wink-nod deal with McDaniels, got the job. And here we are with a lot of changes, a lot of different quarterbacks in Indianapolis, sparked by the sudden retirement of Andrew Luck. Carson Wentz, 2 weeks as of yesterday, removed from foot surgery, kind of came out of the blue. Optimism as of last week that Wentz was trending in the direction of being ready for Week 1. Frank Reich was asked about the status of Wentz's foot injury and subsequent surgery yesterday. Here's what Frank Reich had to say.
We're at the 2-week window. We feel good about where we're at the 2-week window. You know how what I like to say about these kind of things is I just don't see the advantage of me trying to project that out. I mean, I can just tell you we feel good about where we're at right now. I think that's the main thing. I think Carson and Q have done a good job, in the rehab process with the right mentality, getting the work done that they need to get done. And I think it's all been good.
Frank Reich meeting with reporters yesterday from inside of a fishbowl. I don't understand. I don't get it, but that's okay.
Well, I guess he's blurring out the background just in case there's something there. He doesn't want somebody like you picking up on it and writing on Pro Football Talk or something.
Pick a different background. What I do get, is this.
Yeah.
There's a balance. You don't want Carson Wentz to do too much. You don't want Carson Wentz to have that sense of urgency that I've got to be ready to go Week 1 against the Seahawks. It's the Seahawks, for crying out loud. I got to be ready to go. I got to come back. I got to prove that last year was a fluke. I got to prove that I'm not injury prone. I got to prove that I'm tough. I got to prove that I can do that. No, what you got to prove is that you're capable of listening to the advice of the doctors and the trainers, and that you're going to take the time necessary to heal the foot. That's the tension right now because, they want him back, but you also don't want him to start overworking, overusing, overexercising, and then the next thing you know, it's closer to 12 weeks than 5 weeks until he's ready to come back.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, quarterbacks are psychos in general anyways, and we've heard enough stories about Carson Wentz. I mean, listen, you could say what you want about him. We know he's tough, and he will try to play through injuries and do those type of things, and you laid it out perfectly. I mean, he's feeling the pressure of, I got traded in this new spot. I got to wipe away the bad memories everybody has of me last year and all those type of things. And the pressure of, everybody's telling me this Colts is a Super Bowl team. They're in the Super Bowl window, right? So I think Frank Reich is trying to not put expectations on Carson Wentz at this moment. So he, like you said, doesn't push it or re-injure himself or do something like that. But, there is urgency in that building. I mean, that's the one thing that, you look at with the Colts and their football team. As I talked about with you a few weeks ago, I do think they expect Wentz to be back very early on, Week 1 or 2. And, man, they need him. I mean, bottom line is, I don't know. Is there a tougher first half of the season in football than the Colts schedule? That's where you look at it and you go, holy crapola, Batman. Like, this is real. And now they might be starting a rookie quarterback the first 2 weeks to where you go, this is a really good team that could be in a hole early on in the year if things don't go the right way.
Yeah, they don't get a break until Week 6 when the Texans come to town. That is a tough run.
Ooh, man.
Through the first 8 weeks, but for Week 6, that's 7 very difficult games right out of the gates. They do need Carson Wentz, and they need him to be ready to go. And when the injury first happened, there was so much speculation about what they would do. Would they trade for Nick Foles? Are they looking for another quarterback? Would they want Jimmy Garoppolo? First of all, Wentz could be back. That 5 to 12 week window that we got both for Wentz and for Carson or
Quentin
Nelson, who had the same surgery the next day, 5 to 12 week window. But, we've seen the philosophy of Chris Ballard, the GM of the team, take root, which is, I'm not going to go out and get desperate. I'm not going to give up a bunch for some guy that we may not even need. We've got other guys here. And it was Jacob Eason at first, Chris, but at some point last week, all of a sudden, they really like Sam Ehlinger. It made me wonder, well, maybe they don't really like Jacob Eason if an undrafted rookie is getting an opportunity to be the starter Week 1 if Carson Wentz isn't ready. But, they have a fallback plan, and now it consists of two guys vying for a job that who knows which one will get it, and they had exactly 39 snaps each in the preseason opener against the Panthers.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm with you first off. Right off the bat, you're right. Last week when I saw Ehlinger was getting first-team reps, I went, uh-oh. That means Jacob Eason didn't take advantage of some of the opportunities he had. At least that's what I took it at. That's what would be my experience there. Now, he started the game, and it's interesting. I mean, Eason has a big-time right arm. He has great size. He could take advantage of more of the skills that the offense has to offer a quarterback as far as, yeah, there's talent at receiver, especially if Paris Campbell stays healthy. You'll see him in the game go up the left sideline for a go route and stuff like that. Here it is, actually. Right, that's Paris Campbell. See, Jacob Eason, you don't really have to change the Carson Wentz type offense. They're going to be able to go, no, physically he can make all the throws and do everything like that. You could see here the size and the way the ball flies off his hand is real deal. It really is. It's a gifted arm, but it's going to be about, do they trust him? I think that's what it really comes down to with Jacob Eason, because he is a little bit of a gunslinger and things like that. And that's where the Ehlinger thing comes into play a little bit, Mike, between Ehlinger and Eason as far as the two different styles of play, and can they trust Eason just to let it go and make some of these plays, as far as no experience going into year two.
But just the fact that you pivot away from being all in with Eason and doing everything to get him ready for week one and start diluting the reps because something about Ehlinger has caught your eye, but you're still not ready to go all in with him. I think the sooner that they pick one or the other and get that guy ready for week one,
right,
that's what will make me, if I'm a Colts fan, comfortable with where things are, because I want one guy to be the guy and all efforts being made to ensure that he's ready when Seattle and the Colts get together to start the season.
No doubt. Yeah, first off, I think the first preseason game, Jacob Eason won, the look test, the evaluation, at least in my opinion. Made a lot of big-time throws and plays to where you go, yeah, that was impressive. He's got some talent and skill here. He can hit Michael Pittman Jr. deep down the field and Paris Campbell and T.Y. Hilton and really make some plays that way. But within those guys, as we know, big arm young guys, there's risk. He's going to try to fit a ball in Seattle with Jamal Adams and Bobby Wagner, and I can fit it in there, and the ball gets, tipped in the air. But then there's a guy like Sam Ehlinger, Mike, who has played a lot of college football. He's got experience. He doesn't have the big right arm. He's going to be a little more conservative with what his throws are and things like that. He can manage a game. And then the other aspect, as you can see there, he's not a gifted thrower. It's a long motion. It's not beautiful. But, hey, if you're open, he can get it. But this is what he can do, Mike. And I don't know how much you watched Texas football the last few years. We weren't worth watching a whole lot. But he can bring that, like, Cam Newton element of football, too, where they might be able to run the quarterback design run stuff like you see here. Pull the guards, let him go behind. He did a lot of that in college football, and that, to me, is going to be the million-dollar question. Do they want to go conservative, Sam Ehlinger, let's control the game, manage the game, or do they want to play the way they envision their team playing the whole offseason and take a risk that Jacob Eason can do it and not make turnovers and do things like that?
The full extent of my Sam Ehlinger knowledge before this year consisted of the fact that when he was very young, he wanted to be Chris Sims.
Guy's got big aspirations.
The decisions of his parents. But if you don't know Sam Ehlinger, here's a quick chance to get to know him. He spoke to Peter King during Peter's training camp tour. Here they are.
What has this been like for you to just come in and to say, wow, I might be playing?
Well, obviously, never want injury to anybody. So to be in this situation itself is crazy. Wasn't expecting that and didn't want that for Carson. But, just coming in and trying to prepare and soak up as much information has really been my strategy. Control what I can control. I can't control the reps that I'm getting. I can't control anything outside of myself, and being prepared in that. And that was kind of my approach. And, obviously things happen and you're asked to step up to the plate. And I'm glad I prepared the way that I did.
And there is Sam Ehlinger. And look, if Carson Wentz isn't ready to go against the Seahawks, it's going to be Ehlinger or Eason.
Yeah.
And one big takeaway I have from all this, they got Brett Hundley on the roster. Right. Rester or roster, either one. You know who we mean. But I remember there was a time when Brett Hundley coming out of UCLA was supposed to be pretty good.
Right.
And he has faded fast now, and he's not even in the conversation for a guy who may get on the field in the event that Wentz isn't ready to go.
No, I know. I mean, it is, you're right. You would think maybe Hundley would get in the conversation here a little bit more. But I think, the big thing is, to me, more than anything, is they just got to figure out how they want to play. And this is the question I want to ask you, Mike. I mean, do you think they can beat Seattle, the Rams, the Tennessee Titans, the Miami Dolphins? Or let's just say Seattle and the Rams. And again, I have a lot of respect for Sam Ehlinger, but with a conservative passing game, we're going to play through the defense, we're going to control the game, run, manage, do that type of thing. Do we realistically? That's where they got to figure it out. To me, you're right. I'm not sure either. That's why I'm asking you and just talking about it, because they could risk losing a defensive struggle or whatever in that type of football game as well.
They've got a very deep and very talented receiving core, and you want to be able to show it off. You want to be able to use it. You want to make it a big part of your game plan, so you want a quarterback that can get the ball to the receivers. And you really don't need the quarterback to run all that much when you have very good running backs like Jonathan Taylor, who was excellent last year, Marlon Mack, who was back by virtue of the fact that he tore an Achilles week 1, so it's not like he was going to go anywhere else. So they have extremely talented players. Nyheim Hines floating around in that mix who can do a lot of things for the offense. You don't need the quarterback that can tuck the ball and run. And I think, look, part of the analysis has to be, if we get off to a hot start without Carson Wentz, have we put ourselves in a Nick Foles type of a situation where, I think folks in Indianapolis would fall in love with the rookie. Rookies always have that extra vibe to them, and you get a rookie who plays right away, and it creates a lot of buzz. And, Sam Ehlinger, we're 2-0 with Sam Ehlinger. I think given some of the issues that we know of or that we've heard about or that have been on the radar screen about Carson Wentz in Philly, I don't know that you want the Colts fans to pivot aggressively to Sam Ehlinger. I think there's less of a risk that they're going to be smitten with Jacob Eason, since with him it's clearly that he's the guy who's holding the spot for Carson Wentz. With Ehlinger, I think there's a chance that the Colts could create a monster that they really don't want if Ehlinger plays well and the fans fall for the rookie.
Right, yeah. He'll have the underdog, like, wow, I can't believe this. This is so awesome look on his face and all that, which is infectious. The team gets around it. Like, yeah, look at this guy, loves football. He can do all those things. Listen, the guy can lead. He's tough as hell. Like, there's no doubt about that when we talk about Sam Ehlinger. But, you're going to miss something in the passing game. That's for sure, that Jacob Eason can deliver. And, listen, I think it could go the other way, too, to your point, Mike. I mean, if Jacob Eason comes in there and they go 2-0 and they throw for 315 yards and he makes a lot of big throws and things like that, people are also going to go, wait, why did we trade for Carson Wentz? Didn't they like this guy? Look, he's pretty good. So, yeah, they're going to maybe have to deal with that talk either way, but that's a good problem to have. They'll take it when we're talking 2-0. Okay, we got to figure out how to deal with this Carson Wentz situation or whatever else. You said it. They have a really good football team, and just from the outside looking in with no knowledge, I think it just comes down to kind of what we've been talking about. Can Jacob Eason continue to make the Colts coaching staff trust him as they get closer to the regular season? That to me is the $1 million question, and not try to, fit every ball into every tight window and do those type of things. If they trust him, he will be the starter week 1. If they don't, you're going to see Sam Ehlinger, and they're going to have to play a slightly different style of football around, his skill set. And like I said, not that big right arm that Eason has.
It's got to be a tough time to be a Colts fan, though. A bigger picture.
Yeah.
Right? Andrew Luck, the perfect handoff from Peyton Manning, and the owner of the team, Jim Irsay, bragging that they would win multiple Super Bowls with Andrew Luck. And remember, there was the comment that Irsay made about they had the Star Wars offense under Peyton Manning, but they didn't win all that much by way of hardware. And it's different with Andrew Luck. And then Luck retires, and they just kind of ping-pong around with different quarterbacks. And then when they trade for Wentz, if you're a Colts fan and you're dealing with people who are Colts fans, what you hear from the non-Colts fan is, oh, this guy's injured all the time. It's like, no, he's not. He was healthy in 2019. He was healthy in 2020. He had the concussion when he took an illegal hit from Jadeveon Clowney. But you've been defending him, and then all of a sudden, right into training camp, he's gone. Like, right. There's got to be kind of a quiet exasperation if you're a Colts fan already with Carson Wentz, which I think, to get back to our original point on the Colts, creates an even greater temptation for Wentz to overdo it. To try to just end this discussion about Eason or Ehlinger. It's me. I'm back. I'm not injury prone. I'm ready to go. Let's go win some football games.
I think that's that. I would bet really that's the reason Frank Reich is trying to not make. He knows Carson Wentz, and that's probably why he's trying not to put pressure or expectations on the situation, because Carson Wentz is sitting there going, "Oh crap, I've seen this story before. I need to get back. Holy crap, I don't want this guy to get in there, make a few plays, win a few games, and then they go, oh, the hell with, Carson Wentz." I'm sure that's a big part of, I'm sure that's in his brain. It's in every competitor's brain that way. So we'll see where it goes. Like we said, I don't expect him to be out much longer than the first week or two, if at worst case scenario.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.